The Russian president rose to power on the 31st of December 1999. In the 20 years since, Putin has been trying to engineer a different kind of global system malfunction, the destruction of the liberal international order. This Russian revanchist has become the most disruptive international leader of the 21st century, the mastermind behind so much misery from Chechnya to Crimea, from Syria to the cathedral city of Salisbury. He has sought successfully at times to redraw the map of Europe. Putin came to power at a moment of Western hubris. The United States was the sole superpower in a unipolar world. Some economists even peddled the theory that recessions would be no more, partly because of the productivity gains of the new digital economy. It was also thought that globalisation, and the interdependence it wrought, would stop major economic powers fighting wars. The same utopianism attached itself to the internet, which was seen overwhelmingly as a force for global good. The biggest assault on a European state since World War II has stiffened European resolve. But so, too, it seems, has the relative weakness of America. Mindful of the botched US withdrawal from Afghanistan and possibility of a Trump 2.0 presidency, European leaders seem to have realized that they can no longer lean so heavily on Washington to defend democracy in this hour of maximum peril. Leadership of the free world has, in this crisis, become a common endeavor. Even since the end of the Cold War, Washington has been calling upon European nations to do more to police its own neighborhood, something they failed to do when the breakup of the former Yugoslavia sparked the Bosnian War. Historians may well conclude that it took a combination of Putin's aggressiveness, America's fragility, Ukraine's heroic resolve, and the fear that Europe's post-war stability is truly on the line to finally make that happen. Arguably, then, you have to reach back 30 years to find a US leader whose approach to the Kremlin has stood the test of time. After the fall of the Berlin Wall, George Herbert Walker Bush resisted the temptation to rejoice in America's Cold War victory. Much to the astonishment of the White House press pack, he refused to travel to Berlin for a victory lap, knowing that it would bolster hardliners in the Politburo and military seeking to oust Mikhail Gorbachev. That magnanimity in victory helped when it came to bringing about the reunification of Germany, which was arguably Bush's greatest foreign policy success. Putin is obviously a more formidable adversary, harder to deal with than even Leonid Brezhnev or Nikita Khrushchev, the Soviet premier during the Cuban Missile Crisis. But since the turn of the century, no US president has truly had his measure. It would be naive to be swept away by the romanticism of Zelensky's speeches or to succumb to the dopamine high of watching the seizure of Russian-owned super yachts unfold on social media. Putin is intensifying the war. But the last week has sent a message to Moscow, and to Beijing as well, that the post-war international order still continues to function, despite the deployment of the Russian war machine to bring about its collapse. Just as history never ended, nor has liberal democracy.